Hello, curious minds. Welcome to this intellectual journey into the heart of a silent war, a war where you are the disputed territory. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to concentrate? Why your hand instinctively reaches for your phone without conscious thought? The answer is deeper than you imagine. It's not your fault. It's not a lack of discipline. You're immersed in a system designed with military precision for a single goal: to capture your most valuable resource. That resource isn't your time or your money. It's something far more intimate. It's your attention. Today, we're deconstructing the colonization of consciousness in the distraction economy. Think of it this way. Historically, powers colonize lands in search of gold, spices, or power. Today, the last frontier isn't on a map. The last frontier is you. This system has a name: the attention economy. It's a business model where revenue comes from capturing and reselling fragments of your mental life. Every second you spend on a platform, every click you make, every video you watch becomes a product sold to the highest bidder. For this model to work, companies aren't competing to offer you the best service. They're competing to be the best at keeping you hooked, regardless of the cost to your well-being. The architects of this system are incredibly intelligent. They've studied human psychology at a deep level to build perfect traps for our minds. One of their most effective tools is the infinite scroll. This design eliminates any natural stopping point, any moment that allows you to consider if you want to continue. With no end, your brain never receives the signal that a task is complete. This keeps you in a constant state of seeking, always anticipating the next small visual or informational reward. Then there are notifications. Those red alerts and sounds aren't random. They're calibrated to mimic signals of social urgency, activating the most primitive parts of your brain. Your mind interprets that little vibration or red dot as an important signal, a potential social opportunity or a danger. It's almost impossible to consciously ignore. All of this feeds into a neurological principle, the dopamine circuit. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, a brain chemical associated with the anticipation of reward. It's not the pleasure of receiving a like that hooks you, but the anticipation that you might receive one. It's the same mechanism at play in slot machines. Every time you check your phone, you're pulling the lever, hoping for an unpredictable reward. This intermittency is what creates the habit and ultimately dependence. Neuroscientists at universities like Stanford have shown how this constant cycle of stimulus and reward can literally rewire our brain's neural pathways. Our capacity for sustained concentration weakens. What's known as deep thinking, the ability to focus on a single complex task for an extended period. The brain gets used to switching tasks quickly, always seeking the next novel stimulus. We lose patience for boredom, which is the true breeding ground for creativity. This is the individual cost: a growing sense of anxiety, a fragmented mind, and a loss of the ability to be truly present in our own lives. You find yourself dining with friends, but a part of your mind isn't there. It's elsewhere, in the digital world, waiting for the next alert, the next update. But the impact doesn't end with us. It extends to all of society, weaving a new social fabric with consequences we're only just beginning to grasp. The algorithms that decide what we see aren't optimized for truth, goodness, or beauty. They're optimized for one thing only: engagement time. And it turns out that what best captures our attention are strong emotions: outrage, fear, anger. Content that polarizes and divides us is the most profitable. This creates what sociologists call echo chambers, digital spaces where we only hear opinions that reinforce our own, presented in the most extreme way possible. We stop sharing a common reality. We begin to live in parallel informational universes where even the most basic facts are disputed. Social trust erodes. Public conversation becomes impossible. Debate is replaced by denunciation. Mutual understanding is replaced by constant suspicion. The social fabric tears. Now, this is where the idea of colonization takes on its true and chilling meaning. It's not just about selling you products through targeted ads. Whoever controls your attention controls the flow of information that reaches your mind. And whoever controls that flow has immense power to shape what you think. It can influence your political opinions, your consumer habits, your values, and even your deepest hopes and fears. It's a subtle but incredibly powerful form of control. The French philosopher Jean Baudrillard spoke of simulation, a state where we can no longer distinguish reality from its representation. We increasingly live in the map, not the territory. Our sense of identity begins to be constructed not from our direct experience of the world, but from the curated, algorithmic version of reality we consume daily. This is the core of colonization, the expropriation of our inner space. The last place we thought was private and inaccessible, our own consciousness. Old colonies extracted natural resources, New digital colonies extract data, behavioral patterns, and ultimately our capacity for autonomous decision-making. Free will, the ability to choose your actions and thoughts, becomes a questionable concept when your options are constantly pre-selected and your desires manufactured. You feel free because you can choose from a million videos to watch, but you don't realize that the selection of those millions of videos has already been made for you. It's a comfortable golden cage, a cage we've helped build by voluntarily surrendering our attention in exchange for instant entertainment and social validation. The problem is that our attention is a finite resource. Cognitive psychologists demonstrate this. We can only process a limited amount of information at any given moment. When we saturate that channel with an incessant flow of trivial information, we displace important information. We lose the ability to prioritize, to know what truly matters. This state of cognitive overload leaves us mentally exhausted, more irritable, and paradoxically, less informed about the world, despite having access to all information. It's the equivalent of trying to drink water from a fire hose. The abundance of information becomes a form of intellectual drought. You have plenty, but you can't process any of it. Cultural anthropologists point out that we are losing rituals of disconnection. Moments of silence, contemplation of simply being without the need to do or consume. These moments were crucial for memory consolidation, self-reflection, and the development of a stable identity. Without them, we live in a perpetual present, anchorless. Solitude, which once could be a space for creative thought, is now a void that must be immediately filled with distraction. We've grown afraid of the silence of our own minds. So the crucial question is, are we doomed? Is this colonization of our attention an inevitable process, the price we must pay for modern connectivity? The answer is complex. It's not about demonizing technology. Technology is a tool. The question is who wields it and for what purpose. The first step in any act of decolonization is awareness. Understanding that you are in a battle, recognizing that your attention is invaluable and that you must protect it. It's about transitioning from being a passive consumer of information to an active curator of your own mental environment. You decide what enters your consciousness. This involves making conscious choices, disabling most notifications, setting specific times to check social media instead of doing it on impulse. It means rediscovering the value of activities that aren't productive or optimizable. Walking aimlessly, reading a physical book, having an uninterrupted conversation. Some technology ethics experts call this digital minimalism. It's not about total rejection, but about intentional and focused use of digital tools. It's reclaiming your right to boredom, your right not to have an opinion on everything, your right to depth in a world that glorifies superficiality. Think of it as an information diet. Just as you care about what you eat to nourish your body, you must care about what you mentally consume to nourish your mind. This isn't a battle fought with weapons, but with intention. Every time you choose to put down your phone to be present, you win a small victory. Every time you choose to read a long article instead of 100 headlines, you're training your attention muscle. And like any muscle, it strengthens with use. Because in the end, what's at stake is our inner sovereignty, the ability to direct our own thoughts, to forge our own conclusions, to live an authentic life. If our attention is the last frontier, then protecting it is the ultimate act of rebellion against a system that seeks to turn us into mere nodes in its network. It's the defense of what makes us human, our capacity for reflection, empathy, and genuine connection beyond the interface of a screen. Don't underestimate the power of these small acts. By reclaiming your attention, you not only free yourself, but you also send a signal to the system. A signal that we value depth over speed, wisdom over information, and humanity over metrics. It's a change that starts from the inside out. The next time you feel that phantom tug in your pocket, the urge to check without reason, pause for a second, breathe, and ask yourself, who benefits from this impulse? Ask yourself what you're avoiding in the real world by escaping into the digital one. Perhaps a difficult conversation, an uncomfortable feeling, or the simple, profound silence of your being. Reclaiming your attention is reclaiming agency over your life. It's the difference between being the user and being the product. The choice for now is still yours. The attention economy is the largest and most profitable empire ever built. It has no visible armies, but its outposts are in our hands, in our pockets. And its conquest isn't of land, but of mental lifespan, a non-renewable resource. Every minute we surrender to mindless distraction is a minute that will not return. This brings us to the concept of alienation, a term from the philosopher Karl Marx. He spoke of how workers felt disconnected from the fruits of their labor. Today, we experience a new form of alienation. We are disconnected from our own minds. We constantly produce data and attention, but these products don't enrich us. They enrich distant corporations whose inner workings we don't understand. We are the unpaid laborers in the great data extraction factory. The irony is that the platforms that promise to connect us more have left us feeling more alone. Algorithm-mediated connection doesn't substitute for real presence. We've traded quality for quantity. We have thousands of friends and followers, but often lack a single person with whom to have a deep, unfiltered conversation. And here we reach the climax of this colonization. The ultimate goal isn't just to sell you things or show you ads. That's just the first level of the game. The true power, the ultimate goal, is large-scale behavior modification, the ability to predict and ultimately direct the actions of entire populations. With enough data on your fears, desires, biases, and patterns, a system can create personalized stimuli to nudge you in a desired direction. It can make you buy a product you don't need, vote for a candidate against your own interests, or adopt a belief that has been subtly implanted in you. This isn't science fiction. Research documents from the companies themselves have explored their ability to influence emotions and electoral behavior through feed manipulation. Your mind, your attention isn't just a resource to be extracted. It's a domain to be governed. It's the last frontier because it's the seat of your identity and your will. If we lose this battle, the very concept of a democratic society and sovereign individuals could cease to have meaning. We would be managed, not governed. Resistance, therefore, isn't just an act of self-care. It's a fundamental political act. It's defending the idea that human beings are not mere predictable systems. It's asserting that within us lies a space of freedom that cannot be coded, quantified, or colonized, a space worth defending at all costs. So no, we're not necessarily doomed, but we are at a critical tipping point. Awareness of the problem is the only weapon we have. We've journeyed into the heart of the attention economy. We've seen its mechanisms, its individual and societal costs, and its ultimate goal, the colonization of our consciousness. The fight for attention is the fight to define the human experience in the 21st century. It's a silent war, but its outcomes will determine the future of our species. The conclusion isn't a call to destroy our phones, but to build a healthier, more intentional relationship with them, to be the masters of our technology, not its slaves. Protecting your attention is protecting your ability to think, to feel, to connect, and ultimately, to be free. It's the great challenge of our generation. Your mind is the last free territory. Defend it. Because in the stillness of a focused mind lies the potential to create a better world than what screens offer us. Thank you for joining us in this deep reflection. It's been an honor to share this space and time with you, the most valuable resource of all. We hope this analysis has given you tools to navigate a world designed to distract you and has inspired you to reclaim your mental sovereignty. Remembering this is the first step. Knowledge isn't just power. In this case, knowledge is freedom. If this journey has resonated with you, subscribe and turn on notifications, but do it consciously. Join our community of curious minds. And now I ask you, what's your first step to reclaim your attention? Share your strategy in the comments. The discussion enriches us all.